Migration is a serious topic that has been discussed all about through Mexico and the US, but never any time to talk about migration into or out of different countries, specifically countries that are Latin American native. So let's start with the migration out of Venezuela. Since 2015, more than 7 million Venezuelans have fled the country since then, with 6 million others settling in other Latin American countries. This is the largest migration period that Venezuela has seen in their entire country's history as their economy continues to collapse, failing to meet their basic needs. Between 2013 and 2021, Venezuela's gross domestic product is estimated to have declined by more than 75%, the most for a country not at war in the last 50 years. The COVID-19 pandemic compounded the country's economic and humanitarian crisis, and in 2020, more than 95% of Venezuelans were living below the poverty line. There could be many reasons to why Venezuela is failing. If we look at their policies, their economic policies, the government has full control. If we look at their policies, business owners don't own their own businesses, and the government takes all their money. The government owns everything. If the government owns anything, there is no financial freedom, no economic freedom, and no economic prosperity. This is why so many people are below the poverty line. They hit it saying with the word free. You get free stuff. Free stuff can only be supplied by the government. We've seen in the history of the world during wars and other economic disparity that when the government says free, it typically means taking away stuff. That stuff typically is all the time is freedom. If you talk to Venezuelans today, most are not able to leave. If they do leave, they say that they're extremely fortunate. It's very uncommon to be able to leave Venezuela. The government has so much control and has locked these people down to where it is life-threatening and people no longer want to be there. But they also cannot get out. Why? Because the government has full control over their border also. And when they have full control of the border, they can manage who leaves and who comes in. No one comes in, everybody stays. This is so that Venezuelans can continue to unwillingly give their income and freedom to the government because the government is power hungry. During the pandemic, many countries closed their borders. Migration from Venezuela has resumed and is expected to continue in the coming years, although at a slower pace. We estimate that Venezuelan migrants will be around 8.4 million by 2025, more than 25% of the country's population in 2015. This supposed incline is exactly opposite of what we've seen in the patterns of people leaving. These statistics are found at imf.org. Now let's talk about, Costa Rica. Not specific to immigration coming in or out, but some new laws, such as work permits for asylum seekers will no longer be granted expeditiously, but after completing procedure before the immigration authorities. All new asylum applications must be submitted in person with 1 calendar month from the day of the person's entry into Costa Rica without the need to request an appointment, but in person. A person who's already been granted a work permit as an asylum seeker will have it renewed only if he or she is registered in the Costa Rica Social Security Fund. Asylum seekers will not be allowed to leave Costa Rica, neither to their country or origin nor to other destinations. This sounds like a similar policy that is now being invoked. And it's going to trouble many Costa Ricans, people that live in Costa Rica, Costa Rican natives, for years to come. So there's no update on migration policy in Brazil. All that we do know is that it's probable that most people will be looking to leave, with political violence increasing and soaring after the last recent election. Some stuff out of the U.S.-Mexico border, last and finally. We hear about it all the time because obviously we're in America, and even CNN says that there is no immigration fix and Congress isn't really trying. We spend a lot of money on other countries, but the one thing that we do not try and fix is our border. This is from CNN. And from CBS, we find statistics based on what do we most commonly hear about? Fentanyl issue crossing a border. This has been described to Border Patrol, who oversee the drug movement across the border, as something that they have never seen before. A common trend, which is very, very scary, is using minors at the point of entry increasing over the past 2 months. Minors who come from less economic means are targeted in high schools and junior highs. Obviously, there's also a trend where people are trafficked, children are trafficked across the borders, minors are trafficked across the border. There's evidence of this too, and many drug cartels are using minors in order to get across the border and sell drugs. Fentanyl is the most dangerous drug that we can possibly think of. You can't smell it, you can't see it, and you can't taste it. And this is causing a severe amount of death. One that is soaring, where fentanyl overdose is the leading cause of death from 18 to, I believe, 24 or it's 44-year-old Americans.